We taught that alpha lesson. Shooters kappa alpha stepping. I didn't let off Smith and Wesson. 30 shots, 357. 40 Glock my. I'm from love, but I'm stuck. Saying why you kiss me, saying that you miss me, hating when you. She done heard it all. She got no pity for him. Water or wine, it started off fine, but now it tastes a little bitter, huh? A lot of these guys just live in the skies. I'm shining a light. The jig is up. Everybody know G. Oh. I'm tired, bro. See, I can't keep doing that, you know, because I'm getting old now and expending so much energy before a video gets started. It's just not a good idea. I'm in my 40s now, bro. Mid-year list of the albums that I'm liking, at least up until the 6-month point, the halfway point. Granted, I haven't listened to much music this year, not because there's been a shortage, but just because, you know, I've been busy personally. Had a lot of stuff going on, health issues this year, physically and mentally. I'm not only referring to myself when I say that, and I'm just kind of getting back into the groove, getting back on the bandwagon. So there's not going to be a lot of choices or a lot of selections here, but out of what I've listened to this year, oh, have I enjoyed it. And I already know I may or may not get flack for the first one. I really don't care. These past couple of years, I just have not been paying attention to what anyone has really been saying about the music. I've more so just been consuming it in a really private space. Tyler, the Creator video was the first video in a long time where I read comments. So I don't really have much of a perspective on what others are thinking about music. So this choice may or may not be a safe pick, but I actually have really been enjoying, in my privacy, the most recent Playboi Carti record. That's right. I really enjoy it. It is one of my favorites from the year. I think a lot of the credit that people give Die Lit is accomplished by Carti on Whole Lotta Red. I really do. Whole Lotta Red gives me that rawness, animalistic, hedonistic kind of behavior. And everything that Carti does for the most part with his vocal inflection just makes sense for the type of grating and an energetic and lively production that he has. Although I'm sure many folks have a problem with the way it's mixed, the way it sounds. Sometimes it sounds like a mess. But from what I remember of what people loved so much about Die Lit, me being excluded from that conversation, they got this random sense of high energy from Carti on that record. And I don't see why you wouldn't also be able to get that from him on this record, but to a much higher degree. The way he approaches these tracks is just so barbaric and primitive, you know what I mean? And that's what gets me off on this. That's what gives me the energy on this record from Carti. I think he really does steal the show. The scene for production on Whole Lotta Red is nowhere near as cushiony or nowhere near as sugary as the production on Die Lit, but that just makes it stand out much more on Whole Lotta Red to me, because he doesn't have any safe place to land. It's all just spikes and danger and toxicity. The environment is really ugly, and I'm gonna say something that's real cringe. It really does feel like seeing Whole Lotta Red. The next record is TYRON from slowthai. Really love how expressive slowthai was on this album. The production is really graceful, in some instances really pretty. I Tried is easily my favorite track and one of the best tracks I think I've heard this year. It's got such a sunny, colorful feeling to it. The flavor is just so many different textures. I'm not talking about food. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but he goes through his issues and struggles with things like ADHD, the way people perceive him, the idea of him being canceled or kind of restricted in thought or speech based off of how people interpret what he says. And while I did love, you know, Nothing Great About Britain, that was a more conceptually focused record about his surroundings, and this record is just so much more personal. Brockhampton with Roadrunner is another really mature record. I like how much Joba specifically stands out on this record, although initially I thought a lot of his versions were Kevin. He really stood up and kind of took the baton for the majority of this record and took it in a more mature direction. He really did a good job of feeding his perspective on his father's death into these songs and letting the listener feel kind of exactly what he was feeling and possibly an inkling into what his father may have been feeling. Other records are more chill, very hip-hop driven, kind of a healthy mix of everything that they've been doing for a while in this, and I do think one of their best songs, Please Don't Shoot at the Party, shows up on this record as well. The new Conway the Machine album, I really enjoyed this year. It was sweet, it was to the point. Conway mixes and dabbles in a couple of different flows. One people have been accusing him of using, which was the Bodak Yellow flow, I guess, that people have been for some reason crediting Cardi B with, even though it comes from Kodak Black. Whatever. It sounds great. no matter who uses it, is what Conway is showing here. Records like 200 Pies, even though I don't love the 2 Chainz feature, that instrumental from Alchemist is still beautiful. Alchemist and any member from Griselda or the underground rap scene can just seem to do zero wrong. And I think majority of the records on this album that Conway chooses just work. They work well. They tell a decent story. It's nothing groundbreaking or mind-blowing. It's not better than From King to a God, in my opinion, but it is still a good record. And I think Conway does do his thing as usual on this one too. Benny the Butcher is another one with the Plugs I'm At 2 that I actually prefer to the Plugs I'm At 1. And the Plugs I'm At 1 has bangers. That shit has tracks on tracks on tracks, just perfectly laced drug. I'm not gonna say that, but the bars are there, the intensity is there, the hunger is there, the confidence. That's what I love about Benny's music right now, is the confidence is 100% there, and it makes listening to what he's got to say such a joy. He tells his story, he tells his past. One of my favorites on this record being No Instructions, where he just goes off into a bunch of detail about having to start from scratch and not taking advice from people and figuring out his own way to do things. He's got this really great bar about the Quran and about how rappers are perceived versus people that are actually in the street. I just like it. It's not necessarily a glorification so much as it is a warning. Opens beautifully with When Tony Met Sosa. We got another track with Fat Joe that sounds like it would be straight out of a Boondocks episode. Navy Blue with Song of Sage, Post Panic. I absolutely love this record again. And the main selling point for this is, again, just how introspective Navy Blue can get, how personal his records are, and just how deep into his world that he kind of puts you. There really isn't a concept or an idea of future, past, or present when you're listening to Navy Blue's music, at least when it comes to this record. It seems as if he looks at his entire timeline at the exact same time. This album just feels like every part or every aspect of him comes at you at the exact same time. There isn't a, oh, you get this piece of me, then this piece of you. No, you experience all of it at once, and you gotta process it. He sounds calm but confident on this record. It really is a great adventure. Like, just listening to it all the way through, you hear a lot. You get a little confused. You might miss where you are for a second, but it doesn't matter because all of it is just in front of you. I've been waiting on Jazmine Sullivan to drop another album, and she finally did this year with Hotels. I loved it a lot. I love these records. Everything on here, from the feature with Anderson .Paak to the track with Ari Lennox to the records with, I think, hers on this album. Tracks like Price Tags on it, Pick Up Your Feelings. Like, everything on this is so beautifully sung, so masterfully crafted. Hit records just really don't define certain people. And I love that she's having like this resurgence and people are finding out about her for the first time. And she's not defined by a single that she released over a decade ago. She can still be relevant in this era, in this age, and still be just as great of a technical singer as she was back then, releasing quality, conceptual records that have replay value. I love it. I love it for her, and this is truly a magnificent piece to me. Call Me If You Get Lost from Tyler, the Creator. This is such a fantastic record. I loved listening to it. There's a 10-minute track on here that I never thought would be my favorite, and although it does just feel like 2 longer tracks fit into the same one, the transitions are so enjoyable with this. And I'm not even talking about the record. I'm talking about one song specifically, just how enticing it can be and how sensual and sexual it kind of transforms into. And then it just goes into this, wow, I thought you liked me, or maybe I misunderstood what we were actually doing here. It almost feels like a complete waste of time by the time you get to the end of the track, because all these emotions and all these different feelings and sensations have been experienced from start to almost finish, just to find out, yeah, this person wasn't as into you as you were into them. And sonically, you can hear that. That's just great. It's such a genius record to me, with perfectly laced vocals from Brent Faiyaz. I almost said Vince Staples for some reason. And Tyler, the Creator, is singing great on this record too. Vanna Hughes sings beautifully. I love how it goes from this R&B and kind of smooth, jazzier cut, this really classy cut, to this dancey cut. I don't like using E at the end of my words, but it's just an E all over the place. Listen, let me get this straight too. Youngboy, NBA Youngboy is still not an artist that I'm going to listen to in my free time. If anyone needs clarification, I will tell you right now. Youngboy, I am not surprised, can harmonize, can sing, can rap well. I'm not surprised that he can do that. The production on his own music is so much different from the production on this Tyler record that he actually sounds great here and not on his own music. I shouldn't need to clarify that, but I feel like I have to, and I'm gonna leave it at that. If you still don't get it, then die. Literally drop. He got Wayne to give one of the best verses he's given in the last decade. I'm not even exaggerating. DJ Drama is enjoyable on this record, bro. Which is understandable. I mean, it's DJ Drama, but still, got that mixtape feel from this. This is genuinely just Tyler's victory lap, and it sounds beautifully produced. I love every minute of this, really, for the most part. Like, come into the year, this might be, I don't know, you know, it might be something. And last but certainly not least, we have the record from Lil Baby and Lil Durk. Yeah, I know, don't shoot. You can shoot if you want to. I'm gonna haunt you. I'm gonna haunt the fuck out you, all right? And you're not gonna get no sleep. You're gonna have to take pills like me. I tell you that I had no anticipation for this record. I said anticipation. When I tell you I had absolutely no idea this record was coming until about 3 days before it actually dropped, and had no idea I was gonna love it as much as I do right now. This record is just hunger on top of hunger. They're cleaning plates. They're leaving no meat left behind. That's right, meat, hard cooked meat. It's all over. Nothing's on the plate. Nothing's in the store. Nothing's in the restaurant, okay? Everything's empty. They've emptied the shelves. We need to restock. I love how much chemistry they have with one another. And although after listening to it more times, I do think Lil Baby oftentimes steals the show. When Lil Durk be in his bag, bro, when he's in his bag, oh my God. Me getting switches, niggas lying. Niggas really ain't outside. If they gang and they can't hang, that should be strange. Oh my God, it's in me, bro. I'm telling you. When I tell you that I haven't just liked an album, just like boom, one track, second track, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, like all of them. That's probably not a good edit to put up there because Bill Cosby got out and then he might be next. Just the control, bro, the confidence in both of them. They're young dudes. They know what they're doing though. They have their own lane. They've been sounding good solo. I mean, I've thought that way about Durk longer than I felt that way about Baby, but at the same time, how can I call... something must be wrong with me because I keep saying I'm gonna not call Drake Champagne Poppy and I'm never calling Diddy Puff, but I call Lil Baby Lil Baby. Like, he has to have another name. We gotta find something. Lil B. No, that's disrespectful to Lil B. I'm gonna figure something out. Category will fuck them up. From the cars, the jewels, the titles, the beats, the streets, the beef, whatever, you know what's up. I'm 4 pockets, I hop out with OT, I elevate the hood to do better. I lost my coat and I had to wear 2 sweaters. I ain't been rich all my life, don't be fooled. I sold them Knicks and them dimes to the skull. I don't know what to tell you. It's a great record. It's a great record. If you haven't listened to it and you're there's something wrong with you, bro. Your bad vibes, your bad energy. Facts 100 emoji.